of engineering and robotics. So they actually use this kit right here. I'm gonna get started. So they use this kit that we use for early, and we use these instructions, and they put together things, and they get to integrate motors. That's in the third and fourth. We may stretch it down into second and first this year. So anyway, so third and fourth. So every third and fourth grader, every fifth week does a week worth of engineering. Okay, so during a school year, you get all of the students cycle through almost about 8 times, 7 or 8 times. It's pretty cool. And then from that, after they cycle through once or twice, we pick the robotics team, and they actually put in an application that says, I want to be on the robotics team. We literally are getting over 90% of the students that go through Power Hour and do engineering want to be on the robotics team. So it is not, we're not doing any recruitment of the ladies, we're doing none of that. We're just doing Power Hour and then putting a sheet of paper in front of them, and 5% of the 10% that don't apply is because they're doing something else. They put on their application, I can't do it because I'm doing music or something like that, which is cool. I'm not trying to turn everybody in the world into engineering, but what this also does is all of those students that go up through their 12th grade, they're going to appreciate, we only take out of so 5 classes is about 100 students per grade level. We only take 24 on the robotics team, and that's not me. But all of the other students appreciate and know what the robotics kids are doing, which is very cool. And so those students will go through their whole high school career understanding what the robotics team is over there doing. Oh, they're doing a competition with robots. They may not be doing it with Legos, but they're doing it with something. Yes, sir?
You know how they pick this 24?
Yes. The teachers select. Yeah. I stay as clear. I got that kind of stuff as I can. I stay clear of that at the high school level. I'm also the CCI student head coach of the Robotics of the high school team. So yeah.
I understand.
Just the fact that you asked that question. We do at more. We just select. At the high school level, we do this big rubrics because we know the parents are going to be very upset when their child is not selected. Yeah. So we do some rubrics and things like that. Okay. Y'all ready to get started? Yeah, that's a bonus. Okay. I'm going here. Okay. Real quick, I'm Lucien Junkin from NASA. I've been around robotics education since the mid-90s. I'm a robotics engineer at NASA, chief engineer on the rover for Moon and Mars. So that's really my day job is engineering, and this is extracurricular kind of for me. So I've been doing it, and we've been doing it early for 12, 13 years now. So this may be our 13th year doing early. I'm really catering, today I'm catering to the people who know early, and even though it sounded like I was catering to you for the last 10 minutes, but you're going to tag along for the ride, and we're going to fill in as we go and answer your questions more than I'm going to try to do that. Who knows about early and has participated in early? Okay, so if y'all turn around and look at the people who have their hands up, you'll kind of know what we're doing. This has been a tough year for developing the game. The last few years have been easy. This year was not so easy. We had an idea. We were going into that idea. We do not have a game piece. So a game piece today, walking out here with a game piece that y'all want is a good thing. Just the concept of the game, give me details. Last year it was, I talked and y'all listened and y'all were like, yeah, that sounds good. Y'all had some comments about the scoring. But this year, the more input out of you guys, the better. Do we want to do introductions, or we just want to keep going with this? And we'll do introductions later, and y'all get to, as people talk, we'll do it. Why don't when you have something to say the first time, you kind of introduce yourself, so the new ones kind of are like, oh, okay, they're from this school. Okay. Goals of the day. I'm going to explain to you what the mission is, and get your input on the mission. And then we're going to talk about early and what the future of early is, and get what y'all think about early. Okay. The story. That's the agenda. I'll bounce back in story. Let's just kick into the story. Okay. So this is your story. Oh, before I do this, let me get the newbies on. Since they're familiar with FLL, let me go back to last year. And let's do the fall rules. Okay, so I love FLL. I think FLL is a good program. When I kind of tap on FLL, I really like the same guy that developed Scott, the guy who develops FLL. I really like him. So when I say that, when I tease about FLL, I'm sorry, Scott. I'm sorry. FLL has a lot of rules. The rules this year are probably up to 80 pages by now. It's an ad. It beats me then. So Early's rule book is 4 pages. The 4 pages are laid out, and I'm not even going to. I'm not even hardly going to let you read. Bit page. Bit page. So it's 4 pages. We lay out a story that the teacher pipes and pumps around government to make the work. Okay, this is the playing field. And then we lay out the playing field. So last year we had the Gulf, the lake, and the rivers, the water areas, and then the mountains, the plains, and the coast. And you had to take straws and Ozarka bottle tops and move them around the table to score. That's enough. It's a 2-minute mission. We run 2-minute missions for competitions. It is not, there's only one robot on the field at a time. And I'll show a video a little bit later when we're getting into it. And then we break into, so we give you enough data to say, okay, at the beginning of the 2-minute mission, where are all the game pieces? And here are all the game pieces. And we lay them out where they are. These are Ozarka bottle tops, and these are regular straws. After you bought the kits, you don't pay. There's no mother organization in early. You're looking at the other organization for early. We are. Oh, is that politically incorrect too? Oh, okay. I'm sorry if I'm politically incorrect. There's no father or mother organization in early. Even though it may be worldwide and there's stuff over in South Africa and all that, we give the game, you buy the kits from Lego, and then you just use the Lego kits, and then you have to get the Ozarka bottle tops, you have to buy a bunch of Ozarka water, and to get the straws, you got to go to Walmart or Kroger's or something. So we do that every year. We let you have, to build a robot, we let you take 3 of these kits and build a robot. This kit here has a motor in it. motor with a controller in it. It's no magic as to why we let you use 3 kits, because 3 kits gives you 3 motors. That gives you forwards, backwards, left, right, and gives you some manipulation. And then one of them, you need 1 extra kit to build. Oh, here's a robot right here. Hey, Billy, do you think? Run this robot around on this table. Oh, everybody, this is Billy. Billy, this is everybody. So you get 3 kits to build a robot. This is one of the robots that they built at Moore. And let's see what else I need to tell you about. And we use 1 other kit. You have 1 other kit to build all these carriers. And we give you instructions to build those carriers. And then we have 2 pages worth of written rules. It says if you get a bottle top here, you score this many points. You run a 2-minute mission. It goes 3, 2, 1, go. They drive the robot around for 2 minutes, and then at the end of the 2 minutes, you say fine, and then you count up the score. At a typical competition, a team would run 3 times on the board. You take the top 8 teams, 16 teams, and then you reduce it down, and you have a champion. We don't do it similar to Lego. FLL does it. You take your top 3 scores, you average the top 2, and that's your winner. Maybe is that how we still do it in FLL? Anybody know? Okay, that's how we used to run it to a champion. Good job, Bill. Thank you very much. On camera for the So does that give you a little overview of the directions? What size robot? Oh, the game board was 4x4. I have a piece of plywood with a black rim around it.
Did you build your own, or everyone built their own?
We give you the instructions to build your own. You go to Home Depot, you buy the thing, you buy some paint. All the product is from Home Depot, Lowe's type thing. And I'll show you that. I say that. I make fun of Scott, and then I turn around and I say, well, the rules really aren't, they aren't 4 pages because we give you a bunch of other stuff. Object details, and this is just out of my development, so I apologize because I don't have internet access. So when you have to build a field, we tell you specifically, we give you detailed pictures, and then we start saying, the bottom of the field is a 4x4 sheet of plywood. The rims are this, the paint is this. We literally call out part numbers from, like there's some details on the mountains, and we tell you that the screen molding can be bought from Home Depot, and it's that far down. So we get pretty detailed in that. Okay, this year's game. So, in the spirit of education in the year 2014, I wanted to go to the Middle East because we don't know enough about the Middle East. How do you get over to the Middle East without getting into this world, today's conflict? And the way we thought about doing it was go to the Roman Empire. And so basically the World Archaeological Institute needs our help exploring the ancient Roman Empire. Using what we were calling dig bots, which usually this is the point where I would give you the game piece, which I don't know the game piece yet. The dig bots, we need the students to make a robot to deploy these dig bots. And that's the game. So if anybody got my email, if you look on the internet and you start to study the Roman Empire as to how it's expanded and contracted, the culprits are Italy, Hispania, Spain, France, Gaul. There's some Asia Minor in there. There's a little Greece in there in the north part of the Mediterranean Sea. And then there's Africa and Egypt's down in the southeast of the sea. And then there's Syria that is in today's world, Syria, Israel, and maybe Libya or something over there. Jordan. Bam. See? So I actually, when I was developing this, learned a little bit about the Middle East that I don't know. So, first gut instinct of doing it this way. No objections? Objections? Good idea, bad idea. Understand that you don't teach the Middle East when you're in the third grade. But the bottom line is kids at the third grade level know where, if they drive through Mississippi and Florida, they understand where those states are, regardless when you teach them. Whereas in today's world, there's a lot of talk about Iran, Iraq, Israel, all around the dinner table. Sure would be nice for somebody to really appreciate what the Middle East looks like. And the fact that I probably could ask you right now, and I don't know the answer. So how wide is the Mediterranean Sea? You probably know how wide the Mediterranean. I think of it as about. I think when I look at it in my head, I think it's about 2 Spains wide or 2 Italys long or something like that. But that's about it. And I can't even relate. I can relate that Spain is probably twice as wide as Britain, so we're probably half the size of America. So it's got to be about 1,000 to 2,000 miles across the Mediterranean Sea. That seems long, so I would guess about 1,000. So those kind of things is what we're going for. But we're not telling that for the newbies. We don't tell the teachers this is what you ought to be teaching them. This is what you ought to bring into the classroom. We just give them the stories. I seem to be talking to you a lot.
Yeah, sorry.
It's because you asked the first question.
I'm up in Tomball, and I'm just finding out about this for the first time today. What is you keep talking about teachers.
Right.
Are these run by school teachers, or are you calling the coaches teachers who are parents, or is it always run by schools?
Let's do it this way. Answer, I'm going to give somebody a chance to answer those questions, and then
all of the competitions we've had, the
Teachers in school. Okay.
Yeah.
So the teams are put together by the schools, or do parents get involved?
We do. Parents do.
Parents can be involved in
As coaches for their teams.
Yeah, it's different. It's different. Private school.
Okay.
But in public schools, the coaches come in parents come in to the practices, and they have their team, and they learn how to coach their team and suggest and help them build their box. It's like giving them suggestions. I go around and say, you can't build it for them. You can only suggest. When they build something, you can point out maybe that's wrong.
So there are parent coaches in addition to a teacher that's sort of the sponsor and the organizer.
Yeah.
If you do it in a school base, if you can't do it from a home base or from a home school type as well.
Right.
So it's really, my company is open to anyone that's interested in getting a group together and following through.
Are there any of these groups on the north side of Houston?
Yes.
Huntsville.
We're in Huntsville.
Huntsville, okay. That's further north than I wanted. Okay.
Just by the Woodlands.
By the Woodlands?
There's a homeschool co-op by the Woodlands, extraordinary education.
Well, I'm up in the Woodlands, and I do it as an after-school program.
Yeah. Mine's at-
Independent of the school?
Yes.
Completely?
No,
Yeah.
school furnished everything. They pay for it.
Sorry, thank you.
I was the
Organization.
Yeah. And we can if we have the internet and the map on the early page was up to date, you could see where all of the schools are in the greater Houston area.
What's the early website?
earlyrobotics.org. Okay, let's nail down this right here. Complaints, okay with going this direction. Okay, so I'm literally want to do this right here. I want to get out of here and start typing in your thoughts. I'm going to do this like we do design reviews at NASA. You spit out information, I will record it. I will go back to my desk and mull over it, take the good, try to get rid of the bad, and then come up with the final game. Okay. Let's see if I can use PowerPoint. Go back to there. Okay, let's go to the next. I'm gonna go back here. The mission field. The story is out of the way. If you can't tell right now, I think I got the field in here. I'm not far along on the game as I typically am. I really have struggled. Okay, the mission field. There is what last year's mission field was too
Hard.
too complicated,
Yes.
way too hard.
It was just.
It was horrible. So to review, last year's field looks like,
But you don't say that to the kids. You say, oh, well, we can do this.
yeah.
It's not a big
Oh,
deal.
my.
Those are real pictures. Those are real pictures of the field, but I'll give it to you in this thing. That was it was neat. It was really, really neat. Dublin was really cool when you were developing it on PowerPoint. After it went beyond PowerPoint and you started putting stripes for painting and cutting wood, and these two areas right here,
Raised.
these are raised areas.
Yeah.
There were mountains.
Yeah, they were mountains, so you can kind of see them in the, you can kind of see them here. You can kind of see them here. Well, you can see them here.
They were not fun.
So anyway, so I'll listen, and we need to go simple.
You had a lot more water on the one we did last year.
Yeah.
Are you going to include the Atlantic over one side or not?
I left the Atlantic was there, so okay, this is where we should get into me sitting down and driving escape.
You have more than one?
After you paint your board, if you want your kids to learn that stuff, just take a permanent marker and put it on those spots. You won't get to the tournament, it won't be there, but for their learning purposes, at least they'll learn how to
Yeah.
spell it.
Yeah.
You don't have to paint it.
Is
This
Italy
is where-
raised? Is Italy raised?
Yeah, I think that's what we need to talk about right here. I think Italy is raised.
Yeah.
But let's do this first.
Okay.
So you see this right here? Just one of those things I think about, right? Do I make it that complicated? I like that. I'm okay with that. If y'all are like, well, I'd rather cut a rectangular piece of wood than so this is a rectangular piece of wood
Raised.
with cut off. Watch this move right here. Wait, let me do it this way. Control C, V. So we're going to start doing some development right now. This piece of wood right here is just a rectangular piece of wood with it cut off, right? So it's a makeable piece. Let me do it like this. Control.
You take it to Home Depot with your measurements, they'll cut it.
Oh, they will?
They did for me
That's
last
good
year.
data.
Yeah, they will.
If you look on here, there's no molding yet, so I'd like y'all's input on molding. Where to put molding? Is molding, part of this C somewhere? I want to talk about what each of the areas, from an educational standpoint, you would like. I might. So this is Asia. So in the Mediterranean. Maybe I left one of the maps up.
Home being on the corner is going to drive them crazy. They're used to home being in the middle of the board.
Yeah. So I switch that every so often. Here's
It's
a.
fine.
I'm probably not going to be able to do anything but blow this up since I'm not on the internet.
You need, is it easier for the internet?
Yeah. If you had.
You talk, I'll get internet.
Oh, you're going to get internet over here. Yeah, let me talk this for just 1 second. Okay, if you look right here, wow. You got Africa. This is probably 44 BC. This is towards the height of the Roman Empire. You got Spain, France, Italy will definitely have, and then this is the missing section right here. There's Greece in here somewhere. Yeah, so there was Greece. So I would like to have Greece. I don't know if I swap Greece with Asia, but Asia Minor was a big deal there. then Syria, and then Africa and Egypt. You literally, 2 months ago, if you would have said, well, Africa is really part of the Roman Empire, a strip of it, I would have balked on that from what I thought. So that's kind of how it looked like at the height of the empire for those who. So I was trying to capture that. I like putting the word Gaul on there, and then telling students that's really, in today, Hispania is Spain and Gaul is France. I would rather not put France up here. I would not even like to put France in. I had France in parentheses at one point to let the students know. This does not get written on the real board, so it's just what you call it. But the students do a very good job of calling the areas. Like bless you. Like a few years ago, we had a Mars mission, and the two. Please, somebody. What are the 2 moons of Mars? Well, let me ask the newbies. What are the 2 moons of Mars? Or how many moons does Mars have? 2 moons. What are the moons? What are the moons on Mars? All the students, Billy. I did not prompt Billy for this. What are the 2 moons of Mars?
It was last year or the year before that, so we have since then.
It's kind of embarrassing. It's Deimos and Phobos. And we had Deimos and Phobos as plain areas on the board, and they always called them by Deimos and Phobos. It was just kind of cool. That you will see that when we get into this game, it will be, don't go put it in that yellow area, it will be go put it in Hispania. Or they'll probably convert it to Spain at some level. So that's kind of cool. So this Asia thing worries me. I think there ought to be a Greece. I think there ought to be Greece in there.
Yeah, Greece. Because Asia would be a lot smaller, because it's a lot larger. It's way out of, proportion. Yes.
So you are good with me sneaking Greece, me putting Greece. So I guess really the question is do we do something like, let me find.
The question is, does Greece actually?
Would it be under the word Asia?
Okay. This is good. This is good information right here that you're going to do. When we do these game boards, it is only very loosely. As a matter of fact, we want to go beyond, we want to make it silly loose versus just on the edge of loose, right? Because if it's on the edge of loose, everybody's like, well, Spain, it only barely touches France. Look on the map, it really touches it a lot. And so we won't get away from that, right? So do we put Greece, do I tuck Greece in here like this and have another playing area?
Where's your penalty area?
I think it's the sea. I think you put the penalty areas in the sea. The sea, that would be kind of cool, the middle of the board. Everything, you have to clean out the middle of the board. I'm crazy? Okay, so he plays the game.
So your 2 strips could go above Africa and Egypt?
Yes. It could go here. Okay, let's do strips. You want to do strips? Okay, these are, when we talk about strips, let me go. Yeah, I may not need them right now. I know.
Oh, yeah, we were not strips.
So let me talk about what the strips are. Let me see if I can. Some years I bring a board, some years I don't. These molding strips right here for the newbies, they are a 1/4-inch high piece of screen door molding from Home Depot. And you can tell we have them around the lake. They were waves right here, and they were a part of the banks of the river last year. So this is what so you are contending that we could stick something right here?
And I just figured that's where you put it.
Wouldn't be better underneath Asia?
I'm going to turn them black so we can.
What you say, underneath Asia?
You usually have some 6
It's
spots.
in the water.
No, we can don't worry about that. Don't worry about the past. Worry about I've made many mistakes. That's-
He already admitted that that part was very difficult. That's a little compared to that. It was hard. Yes, it was difficult.
Asia, a higher score area.
You still talking to them?
You would put oh, wait. Oh, for you knowledgeable people, let's do this real quick. I use the word M. Let me find the text box. Text box. Let me use, watch this. That needs to go way up. We use the whole word. 857, you ain't big enough? Not bad. I'm coming. Mountains. What? Who's knowledgeable about?
Yeah, you can have a Greek guy.
200? Okay, where are mountains? In
The Alps and the pyramids.
the Alps are.
How about pyramids in Africa? Pyramids in
Egypt has pyramids.
So where are mountains, Ryan?
Northern Italy.
What?
Northern Italy going into
France.
Have volcanoes.
Like right there.
Have volcanoes too.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So mountains would imply that we could raise the board.
Yes.
Is what I always think. Okay, so Syria we may raise. Is that Egypt we would raise? No?
Oh, no. See, you raising it?
Keep Egypt flat.
Yes.
Keep Africa flat. Keep Italy raised. And then that means you got to drive the robot around here or crawl over. Syria is, I love this. Syria is raised. Great. Okay. You can do that. Y'all are thinking, the new people are thinking, I walked in here, I thought you were going to show me a game, and now you're sitting here developing the game? That's how we roll. Asia. Are we going to have Greece and Asia? Have Greece and Asia. Okay?
Very busy.
Yeah, so it doesn't look that busy like that, does it?
In Asia, Greece,
Yeah.
made smaller.
No, we can keep it this size. Can we?
Back then, wasn't Greece called something else?
Yeah, so that's what it was called.
You could break it like paint.
What is this called? Right here? I'm scared to click on it. This.
Sort of. Be here. I don't know.
No, it is called something else. It is called this right here. And y'all tell me what this is and tell me if you've ever heard of it. It is called, that word right there, Achaia? Achaia? Is that?
Acadia.
I mean, it is, Athens is in Achaia.
Okay.
So yeah, that's what we want, right? We want a place called Achaia. Oh, and to give you appreciation what today's world looks like, this is what today's world looks like. Italy, Spain, all your African countries with Egypt, and then Israel, Jordan, Lebanon, Syria is all tucked over here on the coast. And then this is old Asia Minor is now Turkey. So I think we should I personally think we should keep Asia with another, maybe tuck this like this, like halfway between the two, and then stick in Asia like we had it like this. Input?
It's just busy. That's the only thing I can
Too busy? Yes.
What about putting the home on the right where the Asia is and moving Gaul over Hispania? Just a dot.
No.
We can make it happen.
Okay, there's one thing about home. Home home needs to be, home needs to be that big. So we're going to take that, we're going to move Gaul over here. I'm going to connect these two real quick. Billy, can you find my mouse? So you want Gaul over here? And I can go back. It's in one of the sleeves. And then you want to move Asia over, right? No, you want,
Your home.
your home is Asia? Oh.
No.
Or doll. Home could be doll.
Yeah, I would say Asian would be home.
Should dog be small?
So this is now, right, so here's where we go. So this is Asia. This ends up being Greece, or ACHAIA. Did you do it? No, it's perfect. Thanks, sir. And then you go group. I'll clean this up later on that. And then bring it front. And we could say that home is Asia. If you want to.
Is Syria racist?
Yeah, right now. Yeah, that's what the common thing is.
Yeah, Italy is, that's a really tight spot.
Yeah, you have to crawl over or go around.
Yeah.
I agree. Oh, yeah, it's hard to get out of home right now. I agree with that. So what she's saying is it's hard to drive. You can go out this way, but you don't have good access to this side of the board. Whereas here, I gave you access this way to the board, and then you drive out this way.
Well, it's according to how wide. Is Syria raised?
You want? Okay.
No, I'm just asking.
What?
Yeah.
Syria raised?
Yeah, it's a raised area.
It was. It can go flat.
Can you change the angle of Italy?
Yeah, we can change. You mean change it more slope like that?
Yeah, change the
Yes, ma'am.
Italy overseas kind of point between Gaul, Hispania, and Vecchia.
Okay, we're going to start with that concept first.
I like it there. What if Gaul is home?
It was first. It wasn't home.
That way you can still get out.
Oh, go.
Okay, you can go. Well, you can go around this way.
Wait,
You just
let me
you just
explore
gotta
this for
go
2
past the sea. Get everything out to sea.
You want this over here. We're going to take this and move this over here. We're going to call this Asia. Now we're talking.
Because I like how Italy's a straight line for getting out of base. You know?
And you're starting with Gaul. And now you were just talking about exploring.
This would be.
Oh, wait, no, you weren't talking about
No, I
that.
like it at an angle because you
Big
get
more.
Yeah, get more options to get out.
More
Yeah,
to the
you-
left. Just give me a second. Click. I'm getting there. Oh, wait, let me do this. Bring it to the front. Okay. So you have to almost bring it that far, or don't bring it at all. Just from a cutting the wood standpoint. I can't leave it like that.
No.
I'm starting to like this.
Like that.
Yeah, I like that.
I'm starting to like that because
Yeah, because I'm thinking
I'm
about
gonna
the
do
person that cut the wood.
it's going to take a second, but
Yeah. Oh, no.
and we put those two. Okay, Italy does not come out of Greece. Italy, I'm just spitballing. Italy looks like it comes out of Greece.
And it doesn't.
And it doesn't. It's
Because
more-
actually, it's
more over here.
in here, it's like this.
Okay?
So move Asia.
I know you had a question coming. I can do this. Watch this. This is going to be cool. Take this, Put Asia over there, it's big. That one's that size. Drag home halfway between those two. And leave ocean, leave this as ocean. Okay, so that's the Atlantic Ocean you were looking for. So that's the Atlantic. Greece is here. And so you can drive out here, come around that way, or go that way. That makes that makes Greece kind of small, which it is. That makes Italy being prominent, and it's kind of tied, in a way, it's kind of tied to this area here. What about that? I'm starting like that. And that gives us Greece as part of the learning tool. That doesn't make any more areas than it is. It offends me because I don't want to call France home. I'll call France home once in my life. That gives us a little penalty zone over here in case something. I'm sorry if I offended any French people. What do y'all think? Y'all like it?
And which parts of it is raised, just Italy?
I think Italy and Syria would be.
Then Syria raised.
Egypt goes to flat.
Yeah.
Africa stays flat. Sure you want Africa flat? Yeah, Africa.
Yeah.
You sure?
Don't
just say it because you don't want to cut the wood. Say it because from an
angle, I want it flat.
You can always put the stripping there to give it a little.
Oh, yeah. And put strips.
From there to there.
From there to there.
Just one?
Oh, can I put a strip?
No.
Oh, this is beautiful. Can I put a strip on the outside of home?
No.
Yeah.
It would be like Normandy. It would be like tyranny. It would be.
The kids.
It wouldn't be until all the blocks get kind of caught up.
That's not fair.
That's why they don't want it. That's exactly why they don't want it.
Yeah, right there at home. But if one part's on home,
Yeah,
you can
she
pick it up
is
and move
correct. We need to leave the rookies an easy way to get out. One year we put mountains on the side, and it wasn't friendly for a lot of teams. Okay, do we have a plan? Comments, complaints. How long are we here?
Two.
And there's Starbucks coffee back there if anybody wants
Yeah.
coffee. And juice.
How about we take a couple minute break? Thanks, Karen. Sorry. No, this is a good stopping point. Y'all take a break.
And the restroom is right here.
Okay. And I will ask questions. Okay. Sounds like we're getting somewhere here. Everybody agree? All the veterans? Somewhat agree? You're okay with this? School that's doing it in 5th and 6th. That break between 5th and 6th is starting to be where the kids want to do more. They just want to do more. They want to do FLL, Bex IQ type stuff. It's kind of cool to see that. That break seems to be clear because in CCISD we do FLL at that what we call elementary, which is up through the 5th grade. Yes.
That's what we are.
Up through the
We're a
5th grade.
campus.
And that is so taxing on, we have this whole team, we have the Robotics team. Robotics is a huge high school robotics team. We use the Robotics to mentor all these students. We have teacher burnout at the FLL level when you try to do it in the elementary school. We're transferring over to Bex IQ, so we'll see how that goes. But anyway, so that's my take on it. It is a 2nd through 5th kind of early as
So
good
you
for
think second graders could compete, like as far as they can handle it?
They can handle it if they're side by side with a bunch of 3rd and 4th graders.
Okay, so you mix team, you mix it.
Yeah, we mix
You don't
grades.
have like a 3rd grade
So
team.
so you need to get input from these
I was a
guys.
mix.
We make some.
We mix the 3rd and 4th together.
Okay.
And it lets the veterans teach the rookies. And you cycle through it, right? And the kids you get in robotics, I go to these tournaments we have, the kids are just phenomenal. They're just polite. They're just polite kids. Our principal at Moore, she is just baffled that every practice, we go through a whole practice, and the students, there's just nothing. None of them start throwing Lego pieces and stuff. All the things that you think should happen just doesn't seem to happen. And maybe how we run our program, but y'all do. Y'all are similar.
It's part of their contract.
Yes, it is.
It's part of the expectations. Our expectations are part of their contract, and we have no problem with taking on that.
Okay, I would like to thank y'all. I'm gonna put. Let me do a little. Y'all are talking. We're thinking that you put this here at 45 minus what? 10? 35 minutes. 40. So that goes. You're thinking that molding goes right here, and it'll be blue. It'll be part of the C.
Don't have to.
Did you tell me? You didn't have to.
Don't put it. And then I may put one over here. Or maybe not. Y'all don't like the molding? You don't like the molding. The molding is okay. The molding it seems so easy, but it's
not easy.
It's not easy.
The way the tire gets in there, and yeah.
I could put waves in the Mediterranean Sea and really mess everything up.
I hated your waves.
I'll take that as a compliment.
That's good. That's good.
Okay. Let me see if I can. Robotics.org. Watch this. Oh, I'm giving up my map. I gave up my map. Stop. Stop. Where's stop on these things? Stop. What do you do? There's no little stop button. Okay. I don't think I've ever done it. Oh, close. Okay, we're back from the break, right? Let's keep going. Oh, there it is. Everything will be still. Okay, that'll answer some questions that we'll have in a few minutes, and I'm gonna go. Y'all, we got through that. That's not good. This is good. That's not good. Control tab. Okay, you ready? So that's not the thing, but we'll have it now. The game piece, the object piece.
Okay, archaeologists use shovels, picks.
Y'all ready for this? Y'all pick. I'm not pick. I'm gonna pitch what I think you ought to do. This is my collection of it. They're dig bots, right?
Yeah.
Why don't you pass them on? Those are. Yeah, just throw one at a table and then by the time you get finished handing those out, I'll give you some more of those. Here you are, throw these around too. These are spools from like, certainly you're not buying them at.
Are you going to have two
kinds or one?
I believe there should only be one game piece this year.
Yes.
That it's not a multiple game piece. And this is just from my game piece collection where I go around and y'all all know what these little things are. These are little wooden letters, tiny little letters. I like them to be big enough to be able to see. These are the same blocks with holes in them, just a little bit bigger. These are wooden balls. This is something you probably can't get hold of unless you go to one store. I don't know what they are. Popsicle sticks. I don't think those look like dig boxes. Those are probably easy to get.
Yeah.
Last but not least,
What is a big box?
it's an archaeology. This is kind of cool. What does a dig bot do? If we had dig bots that would sit out and patiently, I know this is so sad, they do archaeological digging, which is that careful brush, scrape, brush, look, do that so you don't scrape up the bone. If we had real robots that did that, that you could just deploy for and just sit there and sweep all day long, man, the archaeological folks would go crazy. Archaeological. I don't know if that's good. Anyway, this is what I think a dig bot is this year. I think it's these dominoes from Cardinal. Kind of made out of a bone. Archaeology. The only reason I think if they're this is when I got them. They're going to be dominoes one day.
Tesla school has a million.
They don't though. They have, yeah, Miss Lefty. So the schools buy these things, these wooden dominoes for math and stuff, and I can't find them readily available in stores. But I can find regular dominoes. It's really tiny. They're really tiny ones. They're wooden ones.
That you're building though, are they gonna be able to hold 10 of these? Like,
Sure.
Or 5, you know?
Yeah, I'll be able to design them to that. Yeah, don't worry about whether they can hold them or not. I will certainly make it.
7 carriers.
Yeah, I'll do 7 carries again. Every time I try to do 6, it's the wrong number. Every time I try to stretch it to 8, it's the wrong number. Okay. You don't have had to seen the game pieces. You could tell me, go find a game piece that is say a golf tee. And tell me to use that. I don't care. Okay, let's start the discussion. Who's first? What would you like, Billy? Okay, thank you for the input. You like the domino?
I think they'll work better than anything I've seen here. These will roll.
Yes.
And these will.
Right, so usually from year to year we switch it. Like one year we had marbles, one year, last year straws. Straws really don't roll. But yes.
And you can still be able to mix them with
Yeah. But these others will roll.
Yeah. Heavy is good though.
I like Billy's idea, because if you're thinking of that big box, you said it kind of goes around, it has a little shape. The golf tees.
Oh, the golf tees. Oh.
Did you want to kind of go around and say where clean up?
You can buy the dominoes even if they're wood at dollar store.
Right, so this dominoes is a domino pack is what, 28? This 28 pack, I try to keep it under the $20 bill, and I usually do a lot better than $20. This domino set from Walgreens was $6.50. So I could go 56. I could go 50 of them on the board and get to $12 from Walgreens, which is the most expensive place you'll ever buy. So probably under $10 at a Target, Walmart. So golf tees are uber cheap. Oh, another problem with last year is, talking about complaining, is field reset. Field reset was horrible last year.
Yes, it was.
Dominoes would definitely be easier on the field reset. Dominoes are going to vary. They're all going to be some standard size like this. Some of them are going to be a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller. I'll spec them out like I do always, but okay, dominoes, golf tees. What else? Man, I thought this was going to be I guess maybe dominoes is the right answer. What do you think, Forrest?
I was thinking jacks, actually.
Yeah, jacks are a problem. I really like jacks. I can't seem to find.
It's hard to find that.
Yeah, dominoes are definitely a learning tool. I mean,
The history, it says, through Egyptian or Arabian origins.
bam. What about what?
What about the weight of the domino? If you have multiple dominoes on the board,
Yeah.
the motor for the leg was plastic gears through system.
Right.
I'm afraid they're going to start stripping out or not being able to push a set of dominoes.
Ready? Let me find something that first is probably too big. Put something in front of it that you think is big and
Like how many dominoes would you think like you carry?
About 10, no more than 10.
50 divided by 7. Probably 10, yeah, 10 remember. I mean, these motors are crazy. They're crazy.
So it's 20.
Put your hand on it.
There's always an even.
But they are crazy strong.
At least on the base 2 and base 5.
Put 20 dominoes together. Those dominoes seem to slide with
That's all I'm part of the problem. So you try to figure out how.
Help him.
That's also with our tool that we usually give the kids, they have to have a problem solve to figure out how to get it to do what it needs to do. So, you know, they see things differently from us.
Oh yeah, that's what's going to be good though, because you're not going to be able to just push. Oh yeah, dominoes are awesome.
Yeah, boys.
Yeah, because when we put the ball in, you can push them over the ball. That's right. Yeah. Oh, this is going to be awesome. And then you will have. So if we put this strip. Oh, come on. I'm getting there. So if we put this strip down here and they fall in the water, they're either going to have to. Oh, they're not going to be able to put them out. They are going to be in the water. That would be cool.
Somebody will figure it out.
Oh, yeah. Unless we left a little opening in Egypt, or so if you made Syria flat, no. Yeah. So you weren't here. You weren't here last fall. Yeah. So, next fall you will be cursing me because I get. Wait. Things that. Hey, listen for a second. If they fall in here, then they will have to come around here and push them into space. That'll be cool.
What are you talking about?
When they get dropped in the Mediterranean, the fact that you can't just bulldoze them into Africa, that you're not going to be able to come out home and just bulldoze them straight to Africa. You're going to have to come around and push them, because there's going to be a lot that get dropped right there, right? All right.
They are the same height as that mold.
Okay, we have dominoes as the number 1. I want golf tees. Billy really wants golf tees. Dominoes? Dominoes it is? Okay. Sorry, buddy. Okay.
I was gonna tell you on Amazon, they have the same set, but 91 dominoes. 91 for $12.40.
So I can go up to anywhere below 3 cents, right? So if you have about 3 cents, so I can go 28 times throw. So 10 dominoes per. You break it, we fix. You break it, Billy fixes it. Don't worry about breaking. Okay. Man. Yeah, we picked. Dominoes. Val, save it.
Yes.
Okay, B. Okay, if you bear with me a second, I'm going to, this is the game board, right? Get the mountains. Val, save it.
And your script will be part of the medium.
Yes. Make the script blue. Yeah, so you don't have to match.
Yes, we got some.
First slide only. I'm gonna come over here. Oh, go ahead. I get the flow. Because this slide was gonna change. All right. Okay. But that's going to be closed, right? Yeah.
That's the basic.
Control tab. I'm going to go up here. I'm going to say insert picture. And I'm going to put it right. Whoa. Getting there, I swear. Bam. Okay, there's a board. It's fun. I know y'all may have fun this board, but when you sit here and stare at this game for hours and hours. Mission scoring. Okay. Now we have the field that looks like this. We just work off of here. Okay. I'll give y'all the choice of what to talk about next. Do we talk about the scoring? Or do we talk about naming the characters? And all I want to do is when you say scoring, because naming the characters is really important too. That's good. That was the exact question. Do you want to do something that you care about? And I will capture these thoughts.
I mean, I would like them to be named something that's perfect. Like the Roman Empire or something.
No, it's going to be a regular. It's going to be a novel. It's going to be a regular. Yeah. So, Egypt was raised scoring thoughts. Okay, ready? I will remember a bunch of them. I believe that the scoring zones, there should be 3 scoring zones and a domino.
How much is it?
A domino is worth point if it is deployed, and we all understand it. I love this deploy thing. Everybody who came up with that a few years ago, genius. The domino has to be deployed in one of these. I'm just spitballing. In one of these 3 zones, and the 3 zones for the fall would be Spain,
So Espanol.
Asia, Africa
Be what?
would be your scoring zones.
Just those three.
I'm proposing this. So y'all look at the board and say what you would expect. Assume the carriers are here. The carriers are going to be everywhere, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Probably one on Italy. Right? So the one in Africa, or the one in Egypt, you would have to come over here to Egypt and drag it to Africa. Or risk pulling it out into the Mediterranean Sea and deliver it to Spain or Asia. Spain looks like it's an easy scoring zone, right? Africa's not really, but it's easy for the carrier or two that are here.
You gotta get over all those things to go out.
And then up here in Asia. Or you can say Syria.
Serious raise. Serious raise.
Rightly on where the carriers are.
Yeah, serious raise. Yeah, serious raise.
Syria is raised and so is Italy.
Italy and Syria is raised.
And it looks like they're the same two pieces of 3/4 inch plywood, and Italy just gets cut off.
So the scoring zone be Egypt instead of Africa? And the reason I say that is when you're trying to move Egypt to Africa, you got to risk backing into Italy. This is a lot more difficult than if you try to score into Egypt and push Africa to Egypt.
So you have to think about Syria and Italy both being raised.
You would have to come in here, grab something in Egypt, and pull it back into that, which means you would have to do this.
You gotta go across that lip part.
You have to go across the
That's raised area there.
That's a challenge.
That's the raised
And that is the challenge, right? To get what I don't want is I don't want them to stick one out in Africa and have them be able to just take a stick and just do this, and it explodes into Africa, and then you get all these points. I mean, this is probably the final. Getting it off of Italy into Spain or Asia will be a challenge. There'll be some teams that'll be like, I'm not even going to touch the one that's in Rome. It's the Roman.
What are your 3 or 4 scoring zones?
I think it's 3 scoring zones.
What are they?
I think it's Spain right now. Before y'all change my mind, I think it's Spain, Africa, and Asia. Asia seems easy because you can shove things into the corner.
Yeah.
Yes, it's possible for you to change the color of Achaia and Asia and switch them so that all the scoring
so you're
zones are
scoring
yellow.
all in yellow zones in the fall. Yes, I will do. I will inevitably do it exactly that.
I would add strips. That seems to be.
You add strips in Asia. These strips up here. Okay, duly noted. Yeah.
No.
Duly noted. Duly noted. You know I'm going to put something up there.
No, I don't.
And it's not my idea.
What's your name?
I was going to do it.
Cares.
Katie Kelly. That one.
It's Katie.
No, okay, it's perfect.
I think it's fine.
It's fine the way it is.
The table debates are, maybe the tables have to stand up after they finish debate.
And where
I like
are you
this.
putting the 7 carriers again?
What, the 7 carriers would probably logically end up being 1. There's definitely one on Italy, so we're down to 5. Probably 1 somewhere in here. That's 3. 4. 5.
Africa's one of the scoring zones.
6. 6. And maybe 7. Africa may be a scoring zone, but they have to be deployed.
Okay.
That's the magic with being deployed. So to explain deployed to you, for those who don't know, deployed means that they have to be touching the board. So if they're on a carrier, the carrier has to be knocked over or something needs to be done with the carrier to get them deployed. It was a big thing that we did like 4 years ago, and what that did was that let me put carriers anywhere on the board, even in scoring zones. whereas before I couldn't do that. Yes?
That's why I make a suggestion, the transition piece that's out of North Line Africa and Egypt. I think it'd be better if that transition piece there stopped on the full length of Africa. Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah.
So you
it's going to be very challenging for the kids. Even if there's a domino piece,
right?
It's going to be extremely difficult for them to do much. And if they're going to try to squeeze it through Syria, I mean, they're going to spend 2 minutes on just
Because if it's raising in that, that's
But I would say if Egypt was open, that kind of opens up the door to move the pieces around a little bit better for them.
Right here. So I would contend that if you level Syria and put it at you don't make it raised, then you potentially could use this and you could just herd everything towards Syria. And I don't care if we cut this, but I think having Syria raised is going to make, when they drop stuff in the Mediterranean Sea, they are not going to have an opportunity to get it out of the Mediterranean Sea. The only way they can get it out is, like if you put a brake here, I don't even think you're going to be able to push it here and get it into there. But I do believe you can come here and push it into Spain.
We got a lot of blocks
If
there.
Syria remains raised, is there enough room, you think, for a carrier to fit between Syria and Italy to come back that way around?
Well,
a robot?
Yeah.
A robot would have to crawl over Italy. It would have to crawl over Italy and Syria. And that's, that's the, how much is this phone worth?
What if Italy's not
So
raised?
here's 3/4 of an inch. So there are the teams that build robots that can go over and those that can't. That's kind of the difference between the two robots. So this. Oh, by the way, when you drive these robots, you see how that crawls over that 3/4 inch?
yeah.
So that's the difference between the team that can get over Italy and can't get over Italy. Some teams are never going to go over Italy. They're always going to go this way and then that way. And they're going to be very successful. And then there's going to be some people that say, I want to go over Italy whenever I want to go over Italy. I don't know. Harvard went low last year.
When you raise and lock, they did.
So do y'all still want Syria raised?
Yes. But if you got Syria raised and then block, that's two barriers right there.
See, I want Italy to be like Italy,
With that strip there, Syria could be flat and give us a shot at getting the wheels, just 2 wheels on the other side and coming over.
Do you want me to just put rumble strips in midway through Africa?
No.
And leave this strip off?
No.
Or shorten strip.
Shorten strip.
You may make it so it's like this?
Yeah.
You want me to block Egypt off with a strip?
No.
You want me to stop the strip?
Stop the strip.
Stop the strip.
Yeah.
Stop the strip.
I want Syria flat. I'm sorry. I don't like anything raised.
Okay. What I'm hearing is, okay, I'm gonna get rid of this for a second. So you want it like that?
Yeah.
And where do you think these? Okay, let me make a. Can somebody measure one of those? Dominoes?
It
They're
says
2 by 1 and then
2 by 1.
0.3 thick.
Okay, that is a domino. I'll make it some annoying orange or something.
How narrow was your valley?
It was wide enough for a robot to go.
just wide enough.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a domino on the board. Okay, can somebody measure that robot? Take a dollar bill. A dollar bill is 6 inches long, about 2 inches high. Can you ballpark? Oh, you have a ruler? Or use a ruler?
You want the width?
Yeah, I'm just gonna make a robot and see.
Hot dog.
You didn't ask me, I think the carrots.
Wheel to wheel is 5 inches.
Miss Pinky right
Outside
there.
of 5 inches.
Got that big? 4x6.
Wait, what about your motors?
That's good. Ballpark. I'm okay.
The motors don't hurt it. It's the wheel that don't worry. It's the wheels work. 5/4 of them.
What is it?
5.5 inches width.
5.5?
The length is 6 1/4.
6 1/4? Okay, so there's our robot. Oh, this is. It's not. Yeah, it's tight, but it's good, right?
Yeah. It's doable.
And those are small, right? It's not like you're trying to push. Yes.
Oh, yeah, and some of my.
Can you what?
If you make sure you're flat, they learn that strip down there, so like a no flat. That way you don't have it's still got a raised area, not as difficult.
Okay, so it's flat with a strip.
It's like a wave, kind of like a wave,
And
right?
like the way the double strip there. so you
Okay.
have a-
How about we do this?
No raised area, but strip. Hot dog.
How about you took Syria
I was just representing flat.
and you made it flat?
All
And
right.
Syria's flat.
Okay, so it's flat.
How about if you put, I'm gonna try to do this like 20 by. No, I was gonna do this. What if you put a strip or two such that one of these would fit in here? That you could bulldoze all the way to Syria. Oh, you could just put it.
2
Because
inches apart.
if it crosses the Syrian border, so if it crosses the Syrian, throw me one of those dominoes.
If it breaks the plane, it's a score.
Right, so if you have a domino here and it crosses that plane, then it would be scored in here. It is not a scoring zone in the spring, in the fall, but it counts as 0 instead of -1, or whatever that is.
Okay.
Okay, so
That would be cool, right?
run over that again.
Okay, so I had a carrier and I dropped 5 of my dominoes here. I have to get them into a 0 scoring zone or a scoring. I got to get them out of the ocean. So I either take my robot and I come over here and I push it this way. I push it over this lip, which is going to be hard, or I push it all the way over to here where it rests on there. And if you have a bunch of them, they're going to stack up and they're not going to let you push them in here and you're going to get a penalty. I'm not looking to get rid of all penalties. I'm just looking for them to, with 30 seconds left to go, say, we have to clear the Mediterranean, let's get to work.
Yes. Yeah. All right.
And then they would have an option to go here. They would have an option to push it back over here. And they would have an option to pluck them. I bet you that somebody's going to be able to keep ramming them.
Yeah.
Like you're going to get to a point where that they're going to sit there and they're going to hit them like that and they're going to flip over into Africa.
And if they gather a whole bunch together, they'll get the top ones to go over. Like if they have a stack.
Right. Oh, yeah. Then, right. If they fall on top, you may be able to throw them.
Yeah.
So Syria would be a 0.
I would say right now Syria is 0 in the fall. I think.
0 scores.
Unless I have input.
0. 0.
So 1, 1, 1.
So for each domino, 1 point for each domino that's in the scoring area?
Yeah, we had asked. We had.
Or do we want to put
Africa 2.
Africa 2 points? And Hispaniola and Asia 1 point each?
I would say 1. So you say 1, 1, 2.
2.
And then Mediterranean is -1.
Okay.
Is that what you're thinking? And you don't want 1, 2, and 3. You don't want to say Spain is 1, Asia's 2, Africa's 3? No. Because you think Asia is as easy as Spain. Yeah, or generally the same level. And Africa is the tough one.
Yes.
So what if we said Egypt was worth 2? Okay, let's go down the Egypt path as being the scoring zone. Yeah, and this will make it how. Let's just do this for the next 5 seconds. I know it's going to take more than 5 seconds. What if?
What's the question?
What if you put strips on an angle on each?
What if we did the yellow zones of the? They all look the same now?
Yes, they do.
Sorry about that. If I'm good, I could probably do this. Those definitely. Yeah. How about yellow? How about 1, 1, 2 for the fall?
But Egypt. Okay.
And Egypt is the scoring zone.
I like Africa.
I know, but Africa can be in the spring now.
Africa in spring.
Okay.
Bigger one in the fall.
Changes.
No, but I know it changes a lot. No, we won't be Egypt.
Okay, we're going with the 1, 2, 3 concept for a second. She would like to see. I'm not going to do all the strips, but I'll give you.
So you just continue from Syria, but at an angle.
So she wants to do something like this and say this is 1, 2, and Egypt is 3. So then there would be a carrier stuck back over here. It would be a little bit tougher. Spain would be easy. That would be 2. This would be 3. No. I hear some notes. I'm good. I'm listening.
No.
So let's have the debate whether 1, 1, 2 it would be a good, whether it should be 1, 2, 3 or 1, 1, 2.
1, 1, 2 in the fall, 1, 2, 3 in the spring.
Okay, but that doesn't throw y'all's symmetry thing off when you do 1, 1, 2. 1, 1, 1 is good, right? That's symmetrical. 1, 1, 2 is non-symmetrical. 1, 2, 3 is symmetrical. Is it don't throw y'all into some? I don't look. I put my beds in my bedroom at an angle, so I'm not a symmetrical kind of person. But I know a lot of people are like they go. Okay.
I like the 1, 1.
So I've got 1, 1, 2 or 1, 2, 3, and you really don't care which one I do. You like 1, 1, 2 with the and what that'll do is that'll get a lot of points in Spain and in Asia, and Egypt is not just this big money pot. 1, 1, 2.
You're going to have that strip all the way across Africa and Egypt, or you're going to open up a part of it?
No, I think I'm gonna have it all the way across by the time this is over. Then keep Syria raised, is what you're saying, right?
No, I mean, if you do all of that, you may as well, because you still got all this block. Everybody, we don't have, like, some people are fortunate enough to have, like, engineers and all this stuff come in and work with their kids. It's us.
It's me.
Okay,
We don't have that luxury.
I'm sensitive. I like easy boards too.
Take pictures of that robot right there.
Oh, building the robot's not the problem.
What is 1, 1, 2?
Driving it.
Oh, 1, 1, 2 is 1 point here, 1 point there, 2 points there. versus 1, 2, and 3.
Are we taking the strip zone for the 1, 1, 2, or are we leaving the strip zone?
Off of Asia? I'm probably taking the strips off right now.
And you want to change.
That was just a
you want to challenge, but you don't want it to be too challenging.
I like 1, 1, 2 if it's like that.
See, I think you could still go just like this with 1, 2, 3. The reason I think this is because, and let's say we raise.
You leave it like it is.
If you have Asia is 2, and you put a carrier right here, it's going to be very, very tempting to risk the penalties here to push that carrier over into Asia. You are never, and then put Egypt as 3, whereas if you could get that carrier from there and you're willing to go over here to get to there, that's big stuff, right? So I can see 1, 2, and 3 just like it is.
But Asia is actually easier because you have a corner. Hispania is surrounded by water. There's a lot more penalty around Hispania.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, Asia, you just shove it in the corner.
I don't think you can shove it in the corner. You say shove it in the corner. I do not think. I don't think that when you. I think if you have a carrier on Italy, whichever way you flip it. Oh, I guess that robot can get in here and start pushing, because all of those things are going to be right in here.
Yeah, you just go back to base and then shove it from the base.
Well, you shove it from the base. You go back to base and you shove it along here, right? Or you come back here and you shove it. I think when you knock the Italy one off, you are asking for.
Your best bet is to try to go for Egypt instead of anywhere else.
Okay.
If you knock the Italy one off, your best bet would be trying to get it Egypt instead of trying to come back the other way and push it back.
So there's going to be a mountain here for sure. Now that you've said that, there's going to be a mountain.
According to which side it falls on.
Either way.
No, if you come down Italy and you knock it in here, he's saying that you come and you push it there. That's cool. Okay, I like this. Okay, let's talk about the 1, 2, 3 from the standpoint of penalties. If you do a 1, 2, and 3, there's some dynamics going on. You try to stay away from Hispania. If you do, we're talking 1, 2, 3 for a second. You try to keep things out of here and get them all at least into Asia. Right? If you and Egypt is just going to be hard regardless. Yeah. So you won't see a lot in Hispania. You see a lot in Asia. From a penalty standpoint, a domino can count up to 3. You can get penalized 1. That is a third of the penalty. That's a third for everyone you get there. Let's assume that Asia is 2 points. I think that you'll see a lot of risk reward of people leaving them here trying to get them to a 2 point. I don't think you'll see as much risk reward when they try to dump them into here to get to a 1 point, because you're risking a 1-to-1 is where I think that 1, 2, 3 may, from a scoring standpoint, play in better.
That makes sense.
Okay.
Get halfway on the yellow and half on the water.
Then you get Asia, right? If it's breaking the plane, it's for the rules. If it's breaking the plane, you get what it counts more. Even if it's breaking the plane of Syria, and it's in the water, and Syria counts for 0, this is -1, you get 0.
You don't get a penalty.
You don't get the penalty.
Okay.
What is on the railing between Africa and the Mediterranean?
The rail will be blue.
So
it will be in the water. It will say in there that this will be the beach or something, and it will be part of the Mediterranean.
So it'll be a -1.
It'll be -1.
So if it's actually the pink or the part of Africa, it'll be a 0 then?
It'll be 0 there. Yes.
So does it have like if the molding?
It's vertical.
Okay, so if the molding is here, and the domino is like this,
It's
and up, but it's in the water. It's broken the plane.
The molding is the plane. The molding is blue.
The whole thing is.
So it's still a penalty. But if it's Canada and it's sticking over Africa, like you're saying,
Yeah, I know, but that's what I'm saying, is if it's past the plane and it's still all in the water.
No, it's the other way.
does it be touching? If it's like that, if it's like this, and it is not touching, physically touching Africa, it counts 0. It is breaking the plane of Africa.
Okay.
It is deployed, it is number 1, it is deployed because it is touching the playing field. And then number 2, it is breaking the plane of a zone, and therefore it counts to 0.
And if it's touching the water in that same scenario, so it's a -1.
If it's touching the water here,
Yes.
then that is not a -1 because it's breaking the plane of Africa.
Okay.
And remember, if it is for those who, if it's right there and if it's still on a carrier, well, we'll put it on carrier. We'll put it on robot. If it's like this and it's not touching the surface, that is not a penalty. Because this is not, this domino is not deployed. To deploy it physically must be touching the playing field. It's kind of good.
So does it have to physically touch it? For example, if I'm hanging over the lip
No,
where
that's what you
Egypt
just
is,
said.
do I have to touch Egypt physically, or do I just need to break the plane?
Break the plane.
Break the plane.
Well,
Vertically breaking.
you cannot do this. That does not count as a 3-point score. Because it is not touching the playing field.
So
not
you have to
never been
touch
deployed.
it.
It's not deployed.
It's not deployed.
Still on the
No, I'm talking about even if it's deployed.
Yeah. If
Right.
it breaks the.
If it breaks the plane.
So if it's,
So here's the line, right? Here's Egypt, and my domino is doing this.
it's like that.
Touch it.
Like that. If it's like that, it doesn't count, but if it is touching the ground,
But it's touching the ground on the water
yes,
side.
it's okay, because it is number 1 deployed, number 2 it is breaking the plane of that. So yes, it counts the 3. That's fine. Yes, if I get rid of this robot, of this carrier, yes, that's a 3-point, that's 3 points.
So by definition, breaking the plane is like shooting the light over it.
Right,
and the
it's like
shadow
a football.
cast, And the shadow
Yes.
cast over the.
Exactly. Just like football. Sometimes just like football. Okay? Are y'all kind of okay with this scoring? I may change it a little. 1, 2, 3 though. 1, 2, 3 makes the Mediterranean not so penalty hungry.
Okay.
Because when you have if you have all ones and you start getting dominoes in the Mediterranean, teams are going to go to 0 in a hurry.
Okay.
Easy in the fall, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Right? And there'll be a risk. Well, I'll put something that's really teetery right here, such that if you decide to take the one from Africa and put it in Egypt, it may end up over here. I can't believe y'all aren't gonna let me put a strip right there.
No.
I can walk in my face.
You know what it's gonna be hard to do? It's gonna be hard to push it. You're gonna end up pushing it, and this strip would have helped you, and you're gonna push it over into this corner, and then they're gonna have a hard time
Going over.
flipping it over. I love it. Okay.
And if it's ejected off the playing field, 10 points, right?
Say 10
Is
points.
it still?
Yeah, it'll be the same.
Okay.
Is that's good?
Can you finalize the table? And
Yes.
And release it so that while we're waiting for you to finish the rest?
Let's talk about
Pay
this.
for the table.
Let's talk about this. Last year was kind of a beast. I tried to do that last year where in the next 3 weeks I would finalize the table and put out the field object document. And just post that and let y'all start building the table.
Yes.
I started playing with it and I just abandoned that idea because I knew I was going to be changing the board till the bitter end. Okay, with that said, I think that it is more of a benefit for y'all to get the table built sooner than later.
Yes.
So I will walk out of this room, and you have to appreciate, I have to get all of the pictures for the document, I have to physically build the first table and start taking pictures. I am committed this year. You will see the mission field come out, that document come out before everything else.
Okay.
I will get it out as quick. I will just ditch all of the rules. I will finalize this. I think that this is pretty good what we talked about, and I will start to work on that, and I will just not do the rules right now.
This is the hardest thing, getting the old board stripped and then doing.
And I can appreciate y'all's desire to have that done. Okay, sure. Okay, that's it. I will absolutely do that. So scoring thoughts are do 1, 2, 3.
Are you gonna make all the scoring areas yellow?
Yeah, I think so. I think I'm gonna try to do that and then switch the ones. I think I'm gonna make Italy a different color. Make Africa, Greece and Syria the same color, and then make the other 3 scoring zones the other color. Thinking that potentially that the 3 scoring zones will be yellow in the fall, and then they'll be blue or purple or whatever common color in the spring. And then leave Italy as
a raised area.
So I think Italy, let's talk about this right now. I now believe that it should be 1,
2. You said 2,
2,
3.
3.
Yes.
I think Italy should be a scoring zone. But then you get people bringing it back to home and just dumping it. Man,
But it's raised.
It's raised. It's hard to just dump.
Yeah. Okay, let's have this conversation right now because I want to now make Italy. I now want to make it like 1, 1, 2, 3. No, I don't.
No.
Just leave Italy alone. Don't make Italy a scoring zone.
No, because you can make it a score. You can do that in spring.
In spring, that's for the challenge.
Yeah, because yeah, that would be a good one. That would be a good one in spring.
I want to do something. I want to do something like crazy. Like if you put it on top of Italy and it's like that, then it counts like 5 points.
Oh wow!
But that was my previous self. Because I want to see someone try to manipulate the thing, but that's my high school. My high school.
I can see that.
So 1, 2, 3, with nothing on Italy.
1, 2, 3, leave Italy alone.
Your own recorded.
Okay, ready? Spain 1, Asia 2, Egypt 3, Italy 5.
No.
You stack them.
No, this is the craziness that I got into last year.
Okay. All right.
We had stack attack. We had stack attack in the first 1 year, and it just don't work out well. And I think the dominoes are good because they're the right size. You can see them from. You can count them from distance. That's what I don't like about straw. I didn't like about straws and caps. You just, as a spectator, you could kind of tell, but you really couldn't count from afar. Okay. Check. Rules in general. I want to do this real quick before we do it. There'll be 7 carriers. I believe that I should name them things that came from the Roman Empire, like water ducks or water, whatever they call them, aqueducts. Yeah, chariots. Like, and not because there's that one. I would rather students learn about that than Caesar, than name them after a bunch of emperors that.
Okay.
Are y'all good with that?
In Spain and Portugal still works. They still use them in Spain.
All different empires.
So I'll just pick the 7 best inventions. Oh, maybe the pyramids. Yeah.
Pyramids.
I like it. Yeah, that's much better. Oh, that was easy.
It's different.
Okay. I'm not gonna name it after any proper names, is what I want to stay away from. I don't like when we name our control center, the craft, mission control center. There were thousands of people that took America to the moon. Not one guy that deserves his name on the building. President's okay, but not engineers. Okay, I'm good with that. Inventions. Great accomplishments of that. I'm gonna call it inventions. But we got 15 minutes?
10.
All right. We got 10 minutes? Rules in general. I think I only have 2 things left to talk about, the schedule and rules. Are there any heartburn rules that we have right now? I think we're settling into a great set of rules. The deploy thing, all of that. Okay. Schedule for the fall. Millie has left Burbank. Millie certainly is leaving a good legacy at Burbank. Burbank will have it. I just have to organize it. Should be the week after Thanksgiving. It can be 2 weeks after Thanksgiving. What's the FLL schedule this year?
December 6th and 13th.
December 13th.
The 13th is a big one.
That's the championship, isn't it?
Oh yeah, so I'm definitely, even if I had to move I got to do it the week before that, right? So the 13th is a Saturday of December, right? So the week before that is the 6th, and it's going to have to be that weekend.
What do they say in the Bible City is not saying to inches?
Oh, yeah.
Because that's on the 6th.
She's doing 2 tournaments this year. 13th is the championship, which is the teams that advance.
Right.
The teams that don't advance have another tournament, and that's on the 6th.
Oh, okay. When do y'all want the tournament? I think the 6th is my. I usually do it the week after Thanksgiving for whatever reason. Y'all good with that? No pushback on that? Okay. And then I will encourage y'all again, have tournaments of your own, have small tournaments. Don't worry about the flagship tournament. We broke away more from board is only going to send a team or 2 since we got so many teams down in Pasadena. They're going to do a Pasadena tournament now. They did it in May. The eliminations. I absolutely positively love how we're doing eliminations now. Are there any objections? Where we take, to explain to the other ones, it is the coolest thing in the world. I don't know why we didn't come up with this years ago. So say we have 40 teams at the tournament. How we're doing it now is we're saying everybody makes it, you seed out, everybody makes it to the eliminations. And let's say we have 5 boards. I'm going to make it real easy on myself. We have 5 boards at the tournament. What we are doing is we're grouping them, we're taking the number 1 seed, grouping it with 40, 39, 38, 37, and we're playing them off in a match. The top winner of that match moves on to the final 8. So then you get, the number 1 seed should have an easy go of it, number 2, number 3, but when you get down to the number 7th seed, it gets 7, 8, or the A seed gets 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 playing. So then one of those go on, and then we have the final 8. It's kind of cool. No complaints about that, right? Everybody makes the finals, and we do some weird thing to get it to the final couple. I think it adds the excitement, like when we do the finals and we have 4 fields, 4 or 5 fields, where the first team that wins 2 is the winner. I love it. I love it. It's a lot better than the head-to-head. Okay, check. I've already said I will do the field first. The last thing I have is the future of early. Early changes. Yeah. Let's talk about this. I am going to start to look at the VEX system as a going forward plan. The VEX IQ, and let me preface this by saying that I'm a big VEX fan, and I know all those guys, and the VEX IQ kit, and let me explain it to you, and I'm going to build VEX robots this year using the early game. The VEX IQ kit has a game controller. The standard kit comes with 4 motors. So instead of using 3 kits that we use now, we would say you could use one of these kits. Comes with 4 motors, you plug it into this brain right here. Okay? But we would do no programming on it. We would say you have to use the base program, which means that, and if I'm good with this, I probably can find products. It's this super kit. Nope, it's this kit. Starter kit with controller. I'm just hoping they have the controller. Anybody see that? Oh, there it is. So there's the brain, and then you run these wires to these motors that are.
That was it.
Was that a motor?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that motor runs a wire out of this port right here, straight into one of these ports. And then you have this controller. So the students would have a controller, and there's a standard program where if you press right up on the joystick, it makes a motor go forward and backwards. It would be no programming, but it would come with the basic robot control. It would give us wireless capability, and VEX IQ is built for this kind of thing, for running a bunch of robots at the same time. It's just like RC type stuff. It would put that kind of controller in the student's hands earlier than later. I will never ever go to programming in early. I promise you that. And then the other thing may be that this, if we believe that this is good going forward, it may be. I will work with these guys up in Dallas. If you look at their programs, they have VEX IQ. That's the elementary. That's the first Lego League of VEX. They have VEX EDR, which is the middle school high school program, and then they have the VEX Pro, which is what we use in the first robotics thing. So they have all these programs. They're a Texas company. They're a phenomenal group of people. They've done phenomenal things around the world. And I would like to see over here to the left to do VEX, basically VEX early. Yes.
So these remotes with the motor would work with these kit, or you'd have to buy a whole new kit?
You would have to buy a whole new kit. That would be hold it. That would be part of working with these guys that say, hold it, that part of this transition. So we are early enough in the early expansion, I think, that if we were to do this, then I effectively have to replace their 3 kits with a VEX IQ kit. That I have to have that ability to do it. And I don't believe that is monumental. I believe that is doable for a partnership with us and VEX.
Oh, okay.
We are not flowing with money at NASA right now.
we only need one of these kids for 3 days.
Right, so you would need one of the kids, the way this would work, this is probably getting in. I want to get into this enough that it interests you to maybe buy a Vex IQ kit and do it. So you would end up buying, the way I'm working it right now is you would buy a starter kit with the controller for $249. So let's say a new team. They would buy this kit for $249. You could build, you would only be allowed to build your robot out of the starter kit. And then the question came up instantly, what do you build the carriers out of? I believe that you would build the carriers out of one of these kits. There's a competition add-on kit or a foundation add-on kit.
Why can't we just, instead of just throwing the water baby out with bathtub, why couldn't we just use the blue kits to make the carriers out of?
It might be. But, well, because if I'm going to turn over, if it's going to say Vex early, Vex has probably got no interest in what I've been doing in the past. But I'm not throwing it. But if I'm recovering blue kits and I'm giving you, if I'm doing a swap with you and I'm saying, look, you're going to get these 2 kits, but I want these other kits so I can use them in the classroom. Like we've had this conversation, we have literally probably 50 to 100 kits in the back rooms of To Do Power Hour at Moore. We don't want to change those kits out. We love those, we love all of this curriculum and what it gives the students. I'm trying to take the robotics side of this to the level that you guys want. You know, not you specifically, but I want to get those hand controllers out of the kids' hands. And for me to quit hearing the comment, that's not realistic. I mean, I can't run the thing. I can't, you know, get somebody to run it. It takes some talent to do it. But putting those controllers in their hands is realistic. It's what they use every day of their life.
I'm sorry, you feel confident that it'd be a 1 to 3? This kit you're talking about would replace the 3 kits?
Absolutely, it would have to.
That would be
It could
great.
not be a $500 program.
Well, that's a huge savings because 3 kits is a lot more than one of these.
Right. And I would say if Lego Education had worked with us more over the years, I would be very hesitant. If the relationship with Vex is so lopsided on those guys are flexible, and I've been working with these Vex guys for literally 15, 20 years. And I would keep the way I'm going into this is I would keep the game design. I would not, you know, just like Lego sells you the kits, and I don't have anything to do with that, I would turn over the selling of the kits and what kit we use, and they could promote it. They would be more willing to promote it. Like Lego has never come in and just said, I'm going to promote early. They kind of say they do, but it ends up being a Lego Education Denmark kind of thing. And these guys are in Dallas. Anyway.
The high school level, what is it, Vex High School? Is that what's called in high school?
No, Vex has several programs, and you just so Vex now has Vex IQ, and Vex EDR is the if y'all, for those who are older, this is the erector set. We use that at the middle school and high school level, and then Vex Pro is really think of it more like professional robot building.
And Vex Pro isn't its own competition.
No, Vex Pro is, Vex doesn't have Vex uses this kit as their high school competition. Vex Pro is components that we use to build first robots.
So real quick on the breakdown, Vex doesn't actually run any competition.
Oh, okay.
The RECF runs the events. They run a Vex IQ and a Vex competition. Vex Pro is parts we use in FRC. So the whole company started as an FRC supplier years ago.
So what he's talking about, there's some non-profit, go ahead and explain the whole thing.
Okay. The RECF, the Robotics and Education Competition Foundation, is the non-profit wing that runs the robotics competitions. So it runs a VEX IQ competition. They have elementary and middle school, and then they run a VEX, what uses the VEX EDR kits as the VEX robotics competition for middle school and high school.
You ready?
There's something like close to 10,000 VEX teams now across the world.
Watch this question. What other competitions does the REFC run other than the VEX IQ and VEX?
They're fully in charge of those two. They help sponsor TSA VEX. They help sponsor a few other ones like that. But for the most part,
they're really the arm. They're really the syringe to. They're the syringe to put that into the syringe and to feed it to our students. Is that?
Yeah, basically. But I mean, you have to have some way that they can get nonprofit money. So they do. They have nonprofit money and then for-profit money, and they make it work.
So is this what our high school robotics uses?
What?
In Pasadena? Is that what our high school robotics?
They use part. They buy from this to build their robot. But their high school robot is totally inventive. They buy it from McMaster, from VEX IQ.
But then Pasadena also has VEX robots too.
Oh yes, they also participate in this program right here.
But aside from the competition stuff, that's also the same platform that all the Project Lead the Way schools use.
There you are. Project Lead the Way. They're using the VEX stuff. This VEX system right here is phenomenal. It is a rector set on steroids. And this one I haven't explored enough.
Not yet.
Well, we will come with at the early competition in December, there will be a VEX IQ robot, or I shouldn't call it VEX IQ. There will be a VEX robot made out of the VEX IQ system at that competition, because we are testing it out.
Okay.
And then you will be able to physically take it in your hands and run it in the students' around. And I will see if the scale's the same. That's really what I'm worried about, is that the robots grow too big. That there's too many parts in the kit. I like the fact that there are not too many parts in the kit, and we don't show up with a half of the board is filled with Legos.
Once again,
Are we done here?
So the Lego wireless doesn't work?
The Lego wireless works, but it only works with 3 to 4. You have to turn them all up. They only have 4 channels, I think. Yes.
Could you put the slide back up, like the board that we've been working on so far?
Yes, ma'am, I can.